You're watching Adam the Bull on the Bet Rivers Network.
Welcome, everybody, to the latest edition of the Bullpen with Adam the Bull, brought to you by Bet Rivers. Coming up later in the program, tick, tick, tick. We are a little over 2 weeks away from the NFL draft. What are the Browns going to do? Every day it changes. We'll get to that in a little bit, but we've got to begin with what's going on with Donovan Mitchell and the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's all coming up on today's edition of the Bullpen with Adam the Bull, brought to you by Bet Rivers. So let's begin with the Cavs. I've been someone who has been paranoid. I'm not usually, let's be careful, due to injury. But the Cavs have had such a magical season. It's been so great that I've been kind of paranoid at the end of the year about guys getting hurt. We all know that unless it's all hands on deck, any team, if you're a championship contender, you lose key players and it becomes a problem. There's no doubt about it. So as we were going down the stretch here, the Cavs have 4 games left. All I wanted to do was see the Cavs get healthy. You knew they were going to lock up the 1 seed. I wasn't going to be overly concerned about them losing the 1 seed. They were or losing the overall top seed, which they've already lost. I apologize, folks. I'm having an issue with my microphone. It keeps lowering my volume. Maybe it's a sign that I should not be talking as loudly. But as we go down the stretch, you worry about injuries because the Cavs have been healthy all season long. And so any kind of injury here late in the season could sabotage things. Ty Jerome, who just came back, obviously, this past weekend, he's missed some time with tendonitis in the knee. Obviously an important piece, but not one of the core 4. And then, of course, on Sunday night, in the middle of the game, Donovan Mitchell gets hurt. And at first it seems real bad. Then you see him come back out. And you don't know what to think, right? After the game, he's limping around a little bit. But originally we were led to believe that all would be okay. Well, it may all be okay when it matters. But it's not all okay right now. Donovan Mitchell will not play tonight. Frankly, there's no reason for him to play in any of the last 4 regular season games. He has a sprained ankle. Technically, the Cavs have still not clinched the 1 seed with 4 games to go. I guess it's because... So the tiebreak, the best the Celtics could do is finish in a tie with the Cavs. The tiebreaker is conference record. And so that's why it's not fully clinched yet, because if the Celtics did win out and the Cavs lost out, the Celtics would take the tiebreaker because it's only a 3-game difference in conference record. So there's 8 games left between the Cavs and Celtics. They only need 1 to go their way. It will happen. The Cavs won't lose all 4. Celtics might win their last 4, but the Cavs won't lose all 4, even if Donovan Mitchell doesn't play. They're not going to lose all 4 games. Hopefully they take care of business without him against the Bulls tonight. It is the easiest game on their remaining schedule. And obviously it's important to have that 1 seed. After having a huge lead all year, you don't want to blow that 1 seed in the last week or so, with the regular season coming to an end on Sunday. It's this Sunday. That's it. The regular season is over. The playoffs start in the playoffs for the Cavs start in less than 2 weeks. The question is not whether Donovan Mitchell can come back and play in the regular season. It's going to be, when can he come back for the playoffs? And how effective will he be when he comes back? Because for the season to end the way we want it to end, with the possibility of a championship, it's got to be Donovan Mitchell firing on all cylinders. Now, I think they can get through the first round of the playoffs. Okay. They could probably even win, and maybe I'm crazy. I think they could win in the first round even without Donovan Mitchell. I don't want that to happen. Certainly, I think they can win with a limited Donovan Mitchell. In the first round, you're going to play either Orlando, Atlanta, Chicago, or Miami. Those teams are all under 500. Now, they're all playing decent basketball, to be fair about it, except for the Hawks. But the Bulls, Magic, and Heat have all won 7 of their last 10 games. So they're playing decent basketball right now. But the first round should not be a problem. The Cavs should take care of business, but they're not going beyond the first round without Donovan Mitchell. And they can't beat the Celtics with a banged-up Donovan Mitchell. It's that simple. I say that definitively. Obviously, who knows? You never know for sure. But the Celtics will be tough enough with all hands on deck. And if Donovan Mitchell can't go or is hobbled, that it changes the math on this. So, of all times to get hurt, it's terrible timing. Now, a sprained ankle can linger. It could be a setback, if he does play. The Cavs got to play it really smart here. I think even with the playoffs upon us, they've got to be really cautious. Because ultimately, they can't win it without him. And they can't win it without him being close to 100%. And so they have to do everything that they have to do to get him ready. But that's, with the human body, it's unpredictable. Everybody's different, how they're going to react. It's just shitty timing. It really is. It sucks. Hopefully he'll be okay come playoff time. But the idea of playing him in any of these 4 regular season games that are still there are crazy. And I know there's a sense of nervousness because if you lose them all, there's a chance the Celtics, again, if the Celtics win them all, Cavs lose them all, the Celtics will steal that number 1 seed, which seemed impossible a few weeks ago. I think you got to trust the rest of the team that they can win one more regular season game at least without Donovan Mitchell. You got no choice. Listen, if you can't win, if you got to force Donovan Mitchell back early because you can't win without him, you're not going anywhere in the playoffs anyway. And so I don't think that's the case. In fact, I think the Cavs will win tonight, and that'll be that without Donovan Mitchell. Even though, as I said, the Bulls have played much better lately. In fact, the Bulls beat the Cavs the last time they played. So I'm not saying it's a pushover, but, the Cavs have won almost 30 more games than the Bulls. Even without Donovan Mitchell, they should be able to take care of business. But it's a troubling situation. And we ultimately may not know what Donovan Mitchell looks like until we get to the playoffs, because I just don't see off a sprained ankle how he's going to play this week or why and I get it. He wants to go out there. He talked specifically about the number 1 seed. So he's going to want to go out there and play, but you got to be smart about this. I understand he doesn't want to go into the playoffs playing no games in a week. And it'll be longer than that. It'll be close to 2. It'll be 2 weeks actually, because obviously you got the play-in games that push back when the true first round of the playoffs start. But it doesn't matter. He can get through the rust in the first round of the playoffs against whoever they play. That's just how you're going to have to handle it that way. They've got to be careful with Ty Jerome also is dealing with something. Obviously, Jared Allen's been a little banged up down the stretch. So, it's gonna be something that the Cavs are going to have to monitor the whole rest of the season. And we, as fans, are going to have to hold our breath into this. But I'm going to remain optimistic, even though it may not sound like it. I think the Cavs will lock up the 1 seed tonight. If they don't tonight, they will still lock it up. I think Donovan will be okay by the playoffs. Certainly, if they're smart about it, there's no reason he couldn't be by the second round. Remember, you're not playing the second round for, almost a month. And he should be good by then. But they've got to be really smart, and he's got to be really smart about it. Because if you play, say the Bulls or the Heat, whatever, or the Magic or Hawks in the first round, and he's going full bore and he, tweaks that ankle, the Cavs are screwed. So it's how do you balance, well, we're going to need this guy with not pushing him back too soon. In the perfect world, he'd be able to go on limited minutes, I guess, in the first round and be fully healthy for the second round against. In the second round right now, it would be either Indiana or Milwaukee. The Pistons could still grab the 5 seed from Milwaukee. But the Pistons have been struggling lately, so probably Milwaukee will be the 5 with Indiana being the 4. All right. I'm going to switch gears here in just a second. We'll talk some football coming up right here in the Bullpen with Adam the Bull, brought to you by Bet Rivers. So now we switch gears. Let's talk about the Browns. 16 days till the draft. I think everybody's ready to just see what happens instead of speculate what will happen. The mock drafter himself, Mel Kiper of ESPN, put out his latest 2-round mock draft. And the wind has blown at 2 from Shedeur to Abdul Carter to Travis Hunter. That's been the heavy speculation, even though nobody knows. It's all bullshit. Everybody's guessing. They're pretending they have knowledge. Other teams might be saying, hey, this is what the Browns are going to do. And as the rumors change, it's so funny because Adam Schefter, the alleged authority, over the last month has speculated that the Browns would draft all 3 guys at 2. And each time he changes it, it's like the other didn't exist. It's so funny, but it is what it is. And that's why I say all the time, this is silly season. Don't take everything you hear with a grain of salt. But Mel Kiper did put out his mock draft for whatever it's worth, and he did have Travis Hunter going to the Browns at 2. There's part of me that wants to say, yeah, that's what I expect to happen. But again, I'm basing that on biases from people that are reporting that that's what the rumor is. And it's just the Browns have done one thing well with this current regime, and that's keep their mouth shut. Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski are very good at keeping things quiet. Now, the only thing that leads me to believe they won't draft Shedeur Sanders, and this could be off again, it's silly season, but it's because of the comments from the owner, who, as I said last week, is not as savvy as the GM and the coach in being careful in what he says. Jimmy shoots from the hip. And so his comments about we're not going to reach for a quarterback lead you to believe that they're not going to take Shedeur Sanders. I could be totally wrong about that. Again, it's all speculation. I think the bottom line is if they believe Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback in this draft or best quarterback in the draft that they have access to, and they believe he can be a potential, I hate to say top 10 quarterback, I'll say tier 1, tier 2 quarterback, you draft him, end of conversation. If you don't, you draft Travis Hunter because has the ability to do things that no other player in the league can do. He is truly a unicorn, and you know how much I hate that term. But in this case, it makes sense. And then you grab the best quarterback you can later in the first or early in the second. He has Tyler Shuck, in Mel Kiper's case, going to the Browns. And the guy you like the most, you take him. You see if that guy has the potential. And then if you stink and he doesn't, then maybe you draft another quarterback next year. You got to keep trying at that position until you get it right. And if that means drafting a quarterback in the second round because you don't believe in Shedeur Sanders, you don't think he's that good, okay, fine, I can live with that. Then take him in the second round. And that doesn't work out, you take one next year. And you keep going until you find a quarterback. It's that simple. We could talk about defensive linemen till we're blue in the face. Until you got a good quarterback, you ain't winning nothing. You're not winning a Super Bowl with Kenny Pickett as your quarterback. It's not going to happen. You're not winning it with the quarterbacks you've had on this team the last few years. And you probably won't win it with the quarterbacks you're going to have on the team this year. Maybe you find a gem early in the second round. It's happened. There are a handful of quarterbacks drafted after the first round that have been really good. It's unlikely, but everything about the Browns is unlikely. The clock will continue to tick down. Dustin and I will be live on Thursday at 9 a.m. with 2 weeks to go before the draft. More draft coverage coming up. I got some new things to announce about the podcast in the next week or so stick around. Thanks, everybody, for joining me as always. Thanks to Z for producing today. We'll talk to you next time. Where else but right here in the Bullpen with Adam the Bull, brought to you by Bet Rivers. See you, everybody.